Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to day 6, and indeed the penultimate day of our Golden Triangle Tour of India, in collaboration with our good friends and partners at Sita India and Taj Hotels. Here at Low Season Traveller, we know that we can't travel anywhere just now, unfortunately, and it's killing us. But we can plan and dream and be inspired as we research places which we'd like to visit in the future. Excuse me. And this is what we're aiming to do this week. So you're all very welcome to this first special series which we've prepared for you. So all this week, we're learning a little more about one of the most sought after bucket list experiences as we've been discovering what you can expect from the Golden Triangle Tour of India. So every day this week, we've been going live at 2 p.m. GMT for about 15 minutes as our brilliant guide Neil has helped us to understand more about the incredible experiences to be appreciated during our Golden Triangle Tour of India. We've been to Delhi, Agra, Jaipur, Udaipur, and Mumbai, and hopefully this has given you all a flavour of what you can expect during your low season tour of India's Golden Triangle. Incidentally, the tour that we're following is featured on the lowseasontraveller.com website, and we will be unveiling our special low season prices and offers on Sunday the 31st at 2 o'clock during our final show. Today, however, we're joined by Sita's Tejashri Simha to learn a little bit more about how some of our clients choose to extend their stay when they're in India after they've completed the Golden Triangle Tour. And we learn a little bit more about why it's really important to choose a reputable company for your tour of India. Wonderful. So I suppose at that point, we've had a wonderful tour there with Anil, who's talked us through that, and I think, like we're saying, the journey can continue. A lot of people use the Golden Triangle Tour as an introduction to India. Yes, it's one of those bucket list items, but a lot of people feel if they come from the UK or indeed the US and further afield, that they might want to extend that as well. But what I'd like to do at this point is introduce you to our next guest. If I can get the slide up. There we go. We're delighted to welcome Sita's very own Tejashri Simha. Tejashri is she's been working with Sita for many years. She travels all around India to learn the different experiences. She's a very talented writer. So when she's not traveling and exploring India, she's writing about India and about the different sights and sounds and probably dreaming about where she's going to go next. So let's bring on Tejashri to tell us a little bit about Sita, which is the organization you'll be traveling with. So Tejashri, 3, 2, 1, are you here? There you are. How are you?
Hi, Jed. I'm good. How are you?
Very good indeed. Thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciated. Tell us a little bit about Sita. So, for a lot of our audience, they may or may not be aware of Sita. I've been aware of Sita for a great many years because I worked with some prominent UK long-haul tour operators who, of course, their tours are all done by Sita. But for those that aren't aware of Sita, tell us a little bit more about Sita.
Thanks, Jed. First of all, it's a pleasure to be here and to be partnering with you. Sita has been around for a really, really long time. We've been here for almost 57 years, and that in itself sets us apart from, a lot of other DMCs that are based out of India. The networks and relationships that we have developed over the years have given us an edge, in terms of bringing the right kind of product offerings to our clients in their required budget. And over the years, we've expanded from 2 to 4 to 23 offices that are, spread across India. That is our own offices, our own people who are there to give the top of the line service for our clients during their travel. Um, our panel of guides and drivers who make or break a journey for any traveler, they're handpicked by us.
Yeah.
And we have a panel which is dedicatedly, giving the top-notch service to our clients. Of course, all of this has to be backed by a really experienced team, at the end who can actually grasp what the client requires or what the guest requires. And collectively, I think I can say that our experience is really vast to cater to any kind of, travel or holiday that anyone would plan. Um, what is really a USP for us is having an in-house research laboratory, as we like to call it, which is known as the Destination Knowledge Center, and I'm a part of it. Like you said, we travel across the subcontinent and we bring stories and experiences which can really add that Indian flavor to any holiday, which will not be, I think any Indian holiday is not complete without the experience of, meeting locals and actually being a part of the culture in itself. So
Yep.
that's what we do. And 365 days a year, this is what we do. So,
Yep.
everything we have traveled from traveled through the length and breadth of India, and we can, like I said, we can provide whatever the traveler is looking for. An important endeavor that we have done is rated all our experiences on the sustainability criteria. So you know that when you're traveling with us, we are going to make sure that what you're doing is also sustainable and doing well for the industry and the people who are associated with it. Another important thing which kind of would give, a kind of relief to our clients and guests is that we have a crisis management cell which is set up at the point of any crisis. This management team gets activated, and they're monitoring it through and through 24 hours until and unless the crisis has passed. In fact, even with the pandemic, I can very proudly say that Sita was one of the organizations who helped almost 1,500 to 2,000 British passengers who were stranded in Goa to help them get home safe. It was a massive effort, and we were appreciated for it quite extensively. And last but not the least, I know I've spoken a lot and we are kind of
That's
constricted on the
okay.
time. Last but not the least, we've survived this pandemic with practically no business in sight, even in the future, but we've had minimum casualties, and that
Yeah.
shows that we are financially well, you know, um, we are backed financially well.
Yeah.
Um, Apart from this, we've hosted numerous webinars, virtual fams to keep our clients and our teams engaged. We've actually come up with endeavors like Women Only Travel, which is our latest launch during the pandemic. And we've also furthered our commitment to sustainability through our Sustainability Action Plan, which means that we're really looking towards a future which talks about generative tourism. So I can truly say that with Sita, if you're traveling with Sita, you know that you're traveling with an organization that is leading from the front to see the betterment of the industry and to ensure that the client service is top notch.
That's wonderful. Listen, I can only I can only really echo what you're saying. Like I say, I worked with Sita when I was started out working as a tour operator at Kioni. And I had a relationship with Sita then, of course. And when we were setting up Low Season Traveller, we always said that we want to work with the best companies. The best companies means the best quality. It means that our clients would be reassured and very, very well looked after. It means when the best companies, we mean the ones who are most responsible, the ones who are the most ethical, the ones who have a social conscience. And Sita obviously is right at the very top of that list. And when it came to working with a company in Sita, Low Season Traveller was, we could only choose Sita. And we were delighted as well that Sita was one of the very first travel companies which chose to partner with Low Season Traveller, because again it fitted your ethics. What we're trying to do is reduce seasonality, and we're really proud to be working with you, and I know that our clients will be very well looked after throughout as well. But thank you very much for that. Let's now touch on, if I can get the next slide up, Tejashri. Can I? I can.
Sure.
Let's touch on the extras. When people do this Golden Triangle tour, obviously you've been running these tours for years and years and years. You've got great experience. A lot of people choose to extend, don't they? When they've travelled all of that way, they choose to extend their stay once they've done the Golden Triangle and go to places. We're only going to highlight 3 today. Obviously, there are many, many, many options for extending your stay. Tell us a little bit about Goa, and why do people choose to extend to Goa for those that do?
Goa is really a paradise. I mean, India is a country of contrasts. You will not find one place which will be the same as the other. And there's so many influences that have touched India, and remnants of it are still part of, places like Goa. Specifically, when you talk about the Portuguese culture, a large part of it is retained in Goa. When it comes to the houses, the way people live, their culture, their food, everything kind of embodies, the Portuguese past that they've had. But apart from that, Goa has some amazing beaches, which can
Yeah,
really compete with the beaches of the world. And just the vibe of being there, it's you feel younger. I don't think there is any place in India which will make you feel the way Goa does, because it's
really.
so upbeat, and you can choose the pace that you want to go at. So you can either decide to go to the really like party places of Goa, or you can just find like a nice quiet beach which is not frequented very much, or go to the lazy villages which are now really picking up as spots to go to in Goa, where you really get to experience the culture. There's so much to do, and I think Goa in itself is so vast. Like traveling from the north to the south of Goa, you will see the transition of how north is so much more loud and bustling, but then you move to the southern part of Goa and it's quieter and calmer.
Bit
And
more
so
chilled.
exactly, exactly. And there's so many kinds of people. And where do I even begin with the food? I mean, if you talk about food, Goa has the variety that I think all over the world, whatever you can find it in Goa. That's
Lovely.
how, like, that's the variety that you
Yeah,
have. So, it can cater to anybody and everybody, whether it's couples, families, solo travelers. It has everything for everyone. So
lovely.
it's definitely one of the, of course, the most popular extensions that we get requests for.
Yeah, really. Okay, interesting. Um, Kerala. Kerala also looks absolutely fabulous. How far is Kerala from Goa as well, by the way?
So you will have to take a flight. It's about an hour and a half
Yep,
to get to Kerala.
yep,
um, it's So Kerala is such a contrast from Goa or the north. So now you move into the south of India, right?
yep,
Where in India, like I said, the contrasts are they're so easy to figure out. The north and south are so different when it comes to the way of life, the culture, the food. Everything varies, and Kerala is such a beautiful rural, natural setting that you can get lost in it, and Kerala has everything, whether you want to go to the hill station, which is in Munnar, or you want to go, experience wildlife, which is in Tekadi, or you want to go to the Jewish street in Cochin, which is a confluence of cultures, really, Cochin in itself, because it has, more than uh, 12 communities which are living in the city of Cochin, and there is so much harmony that is, very very difficult to imagine in a country like India. But it's incredible, and of course the beaches, and then there's wellness. And so Goa again has a lot to offer in terms of, for a traveler, what they want to do, and you can pace it accordingly.
yeah,
It's the obvious next choice after Rajasthan, in fact. And yes, thank you, Jed. I almost forgot about the backwaters,
yeah,
but again, this is a highlight, and I think this is the reason that people do travel to Kerala, because you get to stay on a boat, in a houseboat, where they serve you meals, and you get to go through the narrow backwaters of Kerala, see the rural setting, and really get to experience uh, the life of people. You can do it with them, and that's what makes it really enjoyable. And Kerala is known for their hospitality. The people
yeah,
of Kerala are known for their hospitality. So yeah, I think all around a really great destination to
yeah.
be on the bucket list as well.
Beautiful. Guys, to be honest, I'm going to have a hard choice choosing which extension I would do. To be honest, I'd like to do them all if I had the time. The
Let's
last
take
one that
all
we're going to feature,
on.
I know, is Ranthambore National Park. Now, for people that may not have, if they've been living under a rock, Tejashri, and they've never heard of Ranthambore National Park, tell us why is Ranthambore so special?
Well, Ranthambore National Park was in fact the hunting grounds of the Maharajas of Jaipur initially, before they set it up into a national park. And of course, why is it popular? The Royal Bengal tiger. I
Right.
mean, there's nowhere in the world that you can see it in the setting that you see it. Think about going on a safari, a private safari, where you're going through the forests of Ranthambore with a dilapidated fort right in the middle of the forest, and then you see all kinds of creatures. And Ranthambore, in fact, has one of the highest sightings of the Royal Bengal tiger. So it's very rare that if you're not even there for a long time and you don't spot a tiger, that typically does not happen in Ranthambore. And of course, the avian variety that you find there as well is just amazing.
Yeah.
So yeah, wildlife lovers should go to Ranthambore, and it's so easily accessible, especially because the Golden Triangle is a bucket list for a lot of people, and this can definitely very easily be done between Delhi, Agra, Jaipur. It could be a midway stop, a couple of nights, and there are some beautiful resorts that you can stay at as well. In fact, Taj and Oberoi both have a property in Ranthambore, so yeah, your experience just gets enhanced by a little much,
Yeah.
by quite some, if you go and stay at any of these properties.
I think two things sort of struck me as I was doing a sort of, and again, I've never been to Ranthambore, but what sort of struck me is, first of all, I guess tourism at Ranthambore helps protect the different species that are there. We always talk about the tigers are the pin-up boys of Ranthambore, but of course there is such diversity of wildlife there. You can do a true safari
Absolutely.
experience in Ranthambore, and I think a lot of people don't realize that. They always think safari equals Africa and the African countries, which are wonderful, of course, but you can do a wonderful safari in Ranthambore, and it's very different to anything you would have in Africa. But the diversity of the wildlife in Ranthambore is just absolutely out of this world. Like you say, not just the tigers, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Yes, Jed, I think that's an important point, to mention that the safaris in India are very different from the African safaris.
Yeah,
We hear that a lot of the fauna is very used to having visitors in most of the African safaris. So in Ranthambore, it's a little different. You actually get the thrill of chase, as they say it, is
yeah,
what you would experience in Ranthambore, because it's not that you're going to spot it just sitting right there by your vehicle, but it's really a rewarding experience if you
yeah.
do get to spot the fauna in Ranthambore. That's for sure.
It's interesting, actually. Warren, who works with us on the Africa side of the business, he was always sort of saying as well that yes, you don't, it's the same in Africa. You don't just you don't get instant gratification with the creatures. They're not going to be lying around there waiting for you. Therefore, you have to have patience and you have to have perseverance. But then when you do catch the sighting, it's even more rewarding because you've earned the right
Right.
for
Yeah.
that viewing, which I just think is absolutely wonderful. So that's another option. Now, obviously, there are more options. We should point out there are lots of different options for extending a stay, and of course, you guys at Sita can help guide people through the different options that are available. We'll put some options, of course, on Low Season Traveller. But again, when anybody inquires through Low Season Traveller website, the inquiry comes through to yourselves, and you will help guide them and advise them on any other different areas that you recommend as well, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. There's so much to do in India. I mean, it, like I said, it could fit anyone's fancy. I mean, you just pick what you want to do and we have it. That's how diverse the country is.
Super. Well, listen, at that point, we will say goodbye to you, Tejashri. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for telling us a little bit more about Sita and allowing people to understand who they'll be traveling with. Greatly appreciated. Before we bring Meenakshi on, I'm going to show everybody a short video, which was a collaboration between the National Geographic Channel and Incredible India, where they just sort of highlighted some of the different aspects of India, which again might give people food for thought, Tejashri, for any other extensions that they might want to do. So at this point, Tejashri, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Very much appreciated. And
Pleasure.
look forward to
Yeah,
speaking to you again soon.
absolutely. See you,
Cheers.
Jed. Bye.
Thanks.
Bye.
Wonderful. So let's at this particular point then put this video on, which I think you will appreciate, and we will catch up with you in 2 minutes' time. I hope you enjoy this. It's a great video, actually. Let me put solo mode on, and there we go. Well, that's a wrap for today's episode. But please do join us tomorrow at 2 p.m. for the final episode in this series as we catch up with Meenakshi from the Taj Hotels Group to learn a little bit more about each of the hotels which we're going to be using on our Golden Triangle tour of India. And I can't stress this enough. The hotels which you stay in on your trip will play a significant part in your overall enjoyment and appreciation of India. The hotels that we've chosen for this trip are of the very highest standard, and in some cases, they're truly iconic. It should be a great show tomorrow, and I urge you all to tune in at 2 o'clock. Until then, though, enjoy the rest of your Saturday, and we look forward to catching up with you tomorrow.